From Relay, this is Upgrade, episode 582 for September 22nd, 2025. Today's show is brought to you by Steam Clock, Interconnected, Squarespace, and Fitbod. My name is Myke Hurley, and I'm joined by Jason Snell. Hi, Jason Snell.
Hi, Myke Hurley.
High five.
High five. Here
We're
we
in
are.
person in a hotel room.
Yeah.
It's taken us a lot of time to get set up today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we are on location in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I have a Snell Talk question for you.
Okay.
This question comes from Gavin, who wants to know, what is your favorite line to heckle rival players at a sporting event?
Gavin, I don't heckle.
You know, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I don't do it.
Do you ever, like...
I mean, the worst I get is something like you play for Stanford.
Okay. What are you... How rowdy do you get? Like, I know you sing your songs.
Well, I mean, there are songs that are sung, and I'll sing along.
But you're never like, boo! What about to the referee?
I mean, most of the songs are being sung while the band is playing them. I mean, it's not... Yeah, so no, I think I don't heckle people.
I mostly brought this up because...
Take off that red shirt, but that's not to the players. That's to the people, the fans, yeah.
I mostly brought this up because we went to a sporting match.
I figured.
Together yesterday.
Yes, we did. We went to the Memphis Tigers hosting the Arkansas Razorbacks.
And how did that go?
Really good for the Memphis Tigers. For us, it was very, very hot, and we left.
Yes, we left at, what, like halftime?
Yeah.
And it looked like the Tigers were going to lose, but they pulled it out.
They did.
And,
they did. We watched the end of the game from Central Barbecue, and I think we made good life choices.
That was perfect. So I'll just say, because I can't believe to do the conversion, it was like 33 degrees Celsius.
It was like 90.
It was supposed to be 40 degrees. That was the...
It was going to be 105, 103.
And I don't know if I would have been able to watch any of it.
No, I was actually concerned for our health and all that. But anyway, it was fine. It was 92 and humid but light breeze.
Every time the breeze came, everyone would go,
oh, yeah.
It was like a good noise every time.
That was really good.
The breeze
but then we all came back here and decided we would all like rinse off and then meet half an hour later and go over to the barbecue place because, we were all very moist.
I couldn't wear any of those clothes again.
I had to change clothes because my shirt, I came back after we went to the barbecue place and the shirt was still like visibly damp.
Yep.
I
had one of those moments. We're just in it. Buckle up. We're talking about sweat. I had one of those moments where, like, it was just all of a sudden, I just felt like 4 beads of sweat on my back. You know, it just like happens. I don't know if it happens to you, but it's like I'm warm. Oh, we passed. Yeah. We're over the Rubicon.
I had that. We're going to talk about it, I suppose. But I had that at the Podcastathon where there was a certain item of clothing we were forced to wear,
trench coat,
that was completely impermeable to all liquid,
every possible element.
And what that you're thinking, it's like a raincoat, but it was more like you were sweating and the sweat has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And that was the one where I put that on, and within like 30 seconds, I could feel sweat coming on my brow.
Yeah.
And I was not good.
I am not claustrophobic, but I felt it. Being blindfolded and wearing an impermeable trench coat was not great.
No, thank you.
Thank you to Gavin for that question. If you would like to send in a question of your own, please go to upgradefeedback.com and you can send one in. Let's talk about it. So we're here in Memphis because just a couple of days ago, as we're recording this, we participated in the 7th Podcastathon for the kids of St. Jude.
Yeah.
Go to stjude.org/relay and you can learn more about donating. And we have raised over $476,000 is where we're at right now, and I'm expecting it will be a little bit more by the time that you're hearing this. Today, in lieu of talking at length about St. Jude, as we will again do next week, because this campaign runs all through September, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Podcastathon. It's on YouTube. The entire thing is available on YouTube for you to go and watch. Every year, I feel like the event gets better, and I feel like this is just another of those years. I had such a great time. I think this is the most fun I've had with the least trauma, maybe. I don't know the word I'm looking for. I know it sounds strange, but hosting a show for 12 hours is an endurance event.
Yeah, for sure.
To keep your energy up and your sharpness and your skills going for that period of time, it's really, really exhausting. And especially where, like, you just kind of, at least for me, I'm just putting increasing amounts of caffeine into my body.
Yes.
Which doesn't feel good.
No.
But I need it.
Yes.
Because I'm tired.
Yes.
Because also, like, my day started at 6 a.m. We started at 11, and then we went all the way to 11.
11. Yeah.
So that's a long old day, just.
And then they don't tell you this because you're off the stream, but like then we clean up because it's St. Jude. It's we don't have like there's a team there, but like we all helped clean up.
You could leave,
I guess so,
but it would be
impolite.
mean.
Yeah,
I think. Like,
I mean, you shoot a bunch of streamers off all over a whole TV studio, and you throw a bunch of ball pit balls everywhere. And then you just like later dudes and you walk out. That's not nice.
Yeah, I think maybe let's say lesser content creators would maybe leave.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know who they are, but
not our people.
Not us. We stick around because
do.
that's the kind of people that we are.
I will admit that when that cleanup was going on, I was trying to figure out what to do, kind of like a zombie.
Yeah,
balls.
You know what I'll say, and that's just the same for me every time. I am there.
Yeah.
And I am moving things around.
But
I do not think I am the most effective at the cleaning up.
No,
Stephen is very good at the cleaning up, as you would imagine.
He also brings stuff from home and has little
I bring stuff, and it takes me as long to find like my iPhone charger as it is for him to like pack a wagon into the back of his truck.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just Stephen Hackett, and that man. He's a marvel. If anybody saw the end of the Podcastathon, if you've not seen the Podcastathon, which you should go and skip around, it's a great time. Just treat yourself to the last 10 minutes. It's one of the greatest feats known to humankind.
Yes.
Where Stephen...
He's a regular John Henry with his hammer.
Unbelievable. The man,
legendary.
The man can do things with a sledgehammer which you would just never
believe. No.
It's one of the greatest moments of my life. Losing the championship was one of the best things that's ever happened.
If you're going to lose it like that.
Exactly. If you're going to... And that was it. So, spoilers. We were playing Jenga. Stephen was going to lose Jenga. And I was beating him handily, we'll say. I would say physical domination up to that point.
Oh, yeah, complete domination.
Absolute just... I started over 100 points behind. And it was just a...
We built a marshmallow spaghetti tower.
And it was incredible.
We came from way behind to win our sweat-soaked spy challenge.
I don't know how we did that.
I watched the tape, and I still don't know.
Yeah, we are... Basically, I am a marvel too, in my own way.
We destroyed it. And so you gentlemanly said, if you can perform a mythical feat, you can win.
Basically, Stephen had to remove the challenge was remove one Jenga block with a sledgehammer. And I said, if you do this, I will grant you 160 points.
A Jenga block at the very bottom of an incredibly rickety tower.
A tower he could not remove by hand without it falling over.
Yes. And so hit it with a sledgehammer in a particular place, and if somehow the tower remains standing, you win the challenge.
Yes. And
friends, he did it. And we have multiple camera angles.
It's incredible. It's just unbelievable. I will also put a link in the show notes to a post that Stephen put on Instagram, which is Erin Liss. She got it from another angle, which was amazing. And you get to see there are two reactions. It feels like one of those films that like historical where you have to watch it multiple times to see the various reactions. And I would like to point people to two reactions. One, Stephen's wife, Mary, running towards him as if he has, I don't know, won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And also me, jumping out of the ball pit like a meerkat. I am sitting down and then I am standing up and I'm not sure how the propelling occurred.
Yeah.
And I made so much noise, just an ungodly amount of noise. I think I was just at one point just actually screaming. Like there was nothing to be said.
No.
It was just a noise. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
It was just such a good time. And we raised, I believe, I may be speaking out of school, we raised more money during this podcastathon than any podcastathon before.
I think that is accurate.
Which is incredible. And we're so thankful for everybody that tuned in. We're so thankful for everybody that will donate, has donated through this campaign, will donate through this campaign. We're so grateful. We know giving your money can be difficult. There are times where it's harder than others, and I think that this is one of those times where it is harder than others. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we're so grateful if you give any money. So please continue to do so if you can. Go to stjude.org/relay and you can donate until the end of September. And next week we'll talk a little bit more about the St. Jude mission.
Nice.
I have a couple of items of follow-up for you, Jason Snell. Scott wrote in and said, I've got this a couple of times, so I wanted to write in. because you may know about it already, but I want to let our listeners know about it too.
Yeah.
Quick follow-up regarding the keyboard shortcuts to access directly the 4 new modes of Spotlight on Tahoe. I discovered accidentally that you do not need to hit Command Space and then Command 4 as an example, and I think that opens the clipboard.
Yeah, clipboard manager.
In one motion, it is possible to hit Command Space and 4 with the finger still on the Command Space, and it jumps right to the clipboard manager. So this is effectively a direct 3-key shortcut of Command Space 4. It works smoothly for me with all 4 modes. I did not find any documentation for this.
This is accurate, but I would... so it's great.
Yeah.
It means you still have to press Command and then press Space and then press 4 in that sequence, and I would really rather you not need 3 keys to do that.
I agree.
But yes, if you leave Command down and hit Space, you can even leave Space down if you want to, and I believe that will work. But so that's great. It doesn't satisfy me, but it's true.
Yep.
And 4 and Space are way apart, and like it's fine. It's a little like Command-Shift-3 for a screenshot. Like you can do it if you do it in the right sequence, but I'd much rather just hit Command something and have it happen automatically. But yeah, it's a nice little. I'm not even sure if Apple planned that. But
This
that's
might
how it
just be
works.
something. Yeah,
It's a side effect.
It was just we have multiple upgradients right in to say this, and each one of them was like, I think I found this. I don't know if it's supposed to work like this. I can't find anyone that's written about it, but I guess it does, which is very strange. Ava wrote in regarding the crossbody strap, which I have next to me. We'll talk about a little later on in the episode. Ava says, I think one of the major reasons people use phone lanyards is because they frequently drop their phones. A friend of mine has dropped and shattered her phone at least a dozen times to the point that she was threading a string through her case through the charge port hole. It got to the point that she gave up repairing the screen. I wrote in the document something that is now true, so I will say it instead of an imagination, I'll say it as an actuality. It is incredibly convenient, I was playing with this earlier, to just use your phone and let go of it.
Yeah, sure.
You just let go of the phone. I'm done with the phone, I let go of the
Yeah,
phone.
it's like Prince dropping the guitar and having
Just
it
like-
fly into space. It's just a magic thing.
Where
that
the phone
happens.
goes, I don't know. And then when I want it, it's right there.
I'll just say that once you get used to that, and if you're not in that mode, it's bad.
Bad news. Bad news bears. It's
Yeah,
like,
you
I'm
just
done with
walking
the
around
phone.
like, the phone's gone.
Get out of here. That's how you end up breaking more phones.
Yeah, so don't
You
do
get too
that.
used to that.
But yeah.
Couple of other items where I'm catching us up now
Okay.
on news from the past couple of weeks.
Got it.
Google and Apple are keeping the search deal in place.
Yes.
So I'm going to read from Judge Amit Mehta's conclusion, I guess we'll call it. Google will not be barred from making payments or offering other consideration to distribution partners for preloading of placement of Google Search Chrome or its Gen AI products. So this is essentially Google can continue to pay the $20 billion a year or whatever it is to Apple to get their placement. I've listened to podcasts about this, and I've read stuff about the way that about Judge Amit Mehta's conclusion has kind of like come out, and the result of the case, where I think it's kind of unfortunate in a way, where it's essentially we don't think that they should be able to do all those things, but if we stop Google from giving companies this money, a bunch of companies will suffer. Not
Right.
Apple, but Mozilla, Opera.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're punishing them by not having them not have to pay money, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
And has lots of other harm. And
But it locks them into their position.
yeah. And I mean, and that's the argument, is that they have become powerful because they've basically spent money to build a whole ecosystem that's grown up around them, to the point where now if you rip that out, you're ruining the rest of that ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I
They've made
understand
themselves
it.
essential.
Yeah, I understand it intellectually, but I think there's a problem in that.
Yeah. I
Right?
agree.
Like, Google is not a utility.
Right.
There should be the potential for competition. And that still may come, but it's not going to come through the court. So, but then it's like, okay, that's great. Like, Opera and Mozilla, they can continue to make the money they need. Apple gets $20 billion. They don't need it, but they get it.
Yep.
That's the problem. But you would be getting way too granular to be like, you can't pay Apple.
Right,
but
because
you
the
can
argument
pay
would be,
everyone else.
if Apple weren't getting all the billions of dollars from Google, they probably would have built their own
Yeah,
search product which would compete with Google.
which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, for competition, sure.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Speaking of Google, I thought this was really interesting. The Chrome iOS app has received a Liquid Glass update.
What? They did a software update, not like in prompt fashion? How?
They actually did it. Good. Chrome.
That's unusual for them.
Chrome gets more updates than the Docs products.
Of course.
And I do kind of understand it to a way. The Docs products are complicated with the collaboration and stuff, and it's a lot of web views. And so I put a link in the show notes to a 9 to 5 Google article where they show some screenshots side by side. Look, this is not groundbreaking, but there are elements that look like iOS 26 elements. There are glassy elements. The buttons are what they are expected to look like in the human interface guidelines. I mentioned this only because there has been concern that, or like thought that, oh, hey, the big companies are just not going to adopt Liquid Glass. They're going to want to keep their own style. And that is definitely going to be the case in some instances. I just thought it was interesting that Google has updated probably one of their most popular iOS apps pretty much immediately with some iOS 26 fashion. And I think that is potentially an indication that this might be a little bit more prevalent than we think over the long term, that the companies are going to implement things that fit with the system and still keep their house style where they want to. We'll see. The new Apple Watch Hermes watch face features Claris the dog cow. Steven has to buy an Hermes, I think.
I guess so.
So this is the Hermes face, which essentially looks like a take on the like Swiss clock kind of idea. I think it's Swiss, right? Like the cuckoo clocks, the big cuckoo clocks. One of the hours, the animations that happens on the hours, is Claris, I think, jumping out of a window. So you got that going for you. I don't understand this watch face.
It's very weird.
It's very strange. I think it's too much for a watch face. I think would work great as like an Apple TV screensaver. But a watch face, not for me. But it's there. If you really want Claris on your wrist, there's now a way to get it.
If retro pixel art was not already dead, its embrace by a luxury brand would kill it.
That's very true. And Final Cut Camera 2.0 has been released. It has a bunch of new features. There's a reason I'm mentioning this is because today we are using Final Cut Camera to record video version of this podcast, possibly. The setup process was complicated. We currently...
Actually, it was very easy for two phones.
Yes.
And then one phone refused to connect.
We're using 2 iPhones and an iPad Pro to record this. We wanted to use 3 iPhones, but one of the iPhones just wouldn't.
So our 2-shot is my iPad on my suitcase on your bed.
Then we have your iPhone 16 on a tripod, my new iPhone Air in a bumper case on a flimsy tripod.
They're both flimsy.
They're both pretty flimsy. I mean, they would be. They're travel tripods.
Myke, I'll have you know that tripod, that so-called flimsy tripod, is the tripod I use for Upgrade every week. It's a true story.
Okay. We expected to have more phones here today than we do. That is something we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how this comes together. So the idea is we have a multi-camera setup in Final Cut Camera, which you will then do a Final Cut edit on iPad.
Worst case scenario, since I'm recording the 2-shot on the iPad, presumably we have a 2-shot, unless the iPad, which we can't see, has failed and crashed. And in which case, there's no YouTube video this week.
I didn't think about this. We should have set another iPhone with a front-facing camera on a tripod in front of the iPad so we could see the iPad screen. That's what we should have done.
Yeah, we'll FaceTime to it.
Why didn't we think of that?
Because we're not smart.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I think a lot of things that we have done today is because we're not smart.
I agree with you.
Also including, we have rearranged basically every piece of furniture in this hotel room.
Recommend you leave all the furniture where it is.
I'm not going to do that.
As an exercise to the staff.
As people who watch the Podcastathon will know, I have already obliterated this hotel room with a bottle, with a glass bottle.
That's true.
Which happened just over there, by the way, in case you want to see the historical site where I dropped a glass bottle. It's right over there in the corner.
All right, I'm glad I'm wearing shoes.
This episode is brought to you by SteamClock. SteamClock Software is a design and development studio that ships great mobile apps. They work with growing tech companies to level up their customer-facing experiences. James, This is staying in. For some reason, at this moment, during the ad read for our wonderful friends at Steam
We
Clock,
know the people at Steam Clock.
Jason
They're
decided
very
to
nice.
crack open a cold one of Mountain Dew.
I'm doing it's not that cold, actually. I'm
As if-
doing a Stuart Wellington.
As
in
if
the
there
classic
was a
Flophouse.
way in which him doing that would not be a distraction from me, as he does it while grinning at me out of the
Tastes
corner of
good.
my eye.
Almost as good as the software made by Steam Clock.
They are a design and development studio that ships great mobile apps. They work with growing tech companies to level up their customer-facing experiences on iOS and Android. Often, Steam Clock's clients know that they need a great mobile app to grow their business, but they don't have the capacity to build one themselves. Or, if they take a first crack at the problem, they often wind up with an app that's kind of janky. What all of Steam Clock's clients have in common is that they care about great customer experiences. While Steam Clock can build apps using React Native and other cross-platform tools, they also have deep expertise with building excellent native apps in Swift and Kotlin. They also are great at helping companies weigh the trade-offs of these different approaches. They are the experts, right? You'll go to them and they will help you. If this sounds like you, if your business is growing and you want your customers to have a great app experience, visit steamclock.com/upgrade and get in touch with Steam Clock. That is Steam Clock, SteamClock, steamclock.com/upgrade. Get in touch with them to see how they can help. Thanks to Steam Clock for their support of this show and all of Relay. Cheers to Steam Clock.
Cheers to Steam Clock.
Cheers. This is the thing we can do now. Okay, so
It's iPhone week.
it's iPhone week. This iPhone week has been a little bit tumultuous, I would say. So it started with us trying to order the iPhones. We usually get them on Friday, me and Steven. He orders for me, and then this time I wanted to order another one for myself, the iPhone Air. We could not get a pickup time early enough on Friday that somebody could actually go and do that, because the Apple Store and St. Jude are nowhere near each other.
Yeah.
It's very far away.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to send someone to go do it. So we're like, we'll do it on Saturday. But then we were going to the football game.
Right.
And so it's like, okay,
Saturday night,
we'll go pick them up. So we'll go pick them up on Saturday night. Great. And also, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Jason will have his phones from Apple.
Right.
Where are they?
Being delivered to my house today, apparently.
And where are you?
Not there in my house. I'm in Tennessee.
So we have in this room an iPhone 17 Pro in orange.
Yes.
And over there,
Yes, being used for this podcast,
an iPhone Air.
an iPhone Air.
Only I have had any experience with them. And my
That's not true, because while you were picking up your phones at the
That's
Saddle
true.
Creek Apple Store,
That's true.
I did an intensive hands-on experience
Right.
with them at the Apple Store, just at a table.
Well, okay. I'm the only one.
Our listeners most of our listeners probably have spent more time with these products than we have.
which is strange.
It is a little weird.
Yeah. So, but we have some impressions, and then next week we'll be able to talk more about them.
Yes.
I also have some fun stories, which
Also,
I think
send
really-
in your impressions, upgradefeedback.com.
and we'll talk about it in more detail next week. So let's start with the iPhone Pro. So my immediate thing that I noticed was not about how much I love the orange, which I do.
Yes.
It is that this phone is thicker and heavier, I would say quite significantly in the hand, than the phone it replaces. To me, like, I picked it up and I was like, oh, that's heavier. And I have it in my hand and I can tell it's thicker. Now, I would say, I don't know if I have like a special sense for this kind of thing, but I think this comes from the paper products that I make. I'm very sensitive to millimeter differences. Mm-hmm. So like I can, and as this happened, I can pick up one of our products and I know I am able to sense if it's like 2 millimeters different. And I think that somehow translates itself to the phone, because I could immediately tell it was thicker, and it's not that much thicker, but I can just tell. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I will get used to it, but it is kind of, for me, the worst case feeling that I expected, which was this phone is getting heavier, and I didn't want that to happen.
Also, you can see Apple's product design trick here, which is they've gone back to softer edges.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons to do that is actually to trick your perception into
Absolutely.
feeling that it is thinner than it is.
And and I would say the thing that I like about the build is the softer edges. I think it feels nice to hold, and that's why they're doing it. I also noticed that it's cold. The phone is cold to touch. Now, it may just be because I have not ramped this thing up. I will say my phone is currently installing a bunch of stuff, and it's cold.
Yeah.
My iPhone 16 Pro installing an app from the App Store, it feels like it's going to catch on fire.
Yes.
Like yesterday when we were at that football game, my phone, I took a picture. My phone was so hot because it was also hot. I put it in my pocket and it was burning my leg. Like,
Yeah.
there is a problem with the iPhone 16 Pro. Maybe mine is more of a problem, but there is absolutely a reason that they moved to this new vapor chamber system, and I think it's because they have gotten themselves into an overheating problem. Like was it the 16 that when it came out, Apple was like, "Oh, it's Instagram's fault."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's been that conversation about like it's an app or it's just indexing and all of that. But they've run hot and this. I mean, part of it is that it's aluminum.
Yep.
And then there's the cooling system, and we'll see how it goes in the long run. But that's part of what's going on there.
I think
the material is cool.
With a lot of these things,
radiates
it's like
well.
Apple will say a thing, and then they will do a thing. And usually, you understand what they would like to say by what they do. So they'll be like, "Hey, it's fine," but also we've changed the cooling
We've
system.
completely redesigned the thermals of this.
Why did we do this? Don't even ask about it.
Yeah, it's better now.
It's not for you to know.
It's
We
nice.
did it. All right, we just did it. I also like the plateau. Nice resting point for the hand.
Oh yeah.
I think people are going to really dig this. So like I have had that experience with my pop socket. Most of the time, the pop socket on my iPhone is closed. I don't extend it. And I'm using the pop socket as like a ridge for my hand. That's kind of just a comfortable way for me to hold the phone. I think people are going to enjoy that about this phone.
I really like the curve. I talked about the curve on the edges.
Yep.
The curve around the plateau is also a really nice, like it feels really nice.
Yeah.
They did a good job. And the one-piece aluminum is really nice. Like there are advantages to doing the one piece of aluminum. The two-tone is really interesting as well.
There's also the glass in the two-tone section.
Yes.
Has a very nice texture. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of matte in a way.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. It's like design-wise, they're leaning into the entire concept of MagSafe attachments.
Yes.
Because it looks, I carry around a MagSafe wallet on my phone currently, and the new phone looks like a space saying you can put your MagSafe attachment here.
Yep.
Please attach your wallet to this location.
It is very much like we were sponsored by OpenCase last week. And it essentially looks like this phone has one of their cases on it because their case has the big hole in the center for the MagSafe attachments to go in. And it's funny because it really does just look like that. I really like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I was kind of getting lost in looking at the screen and like seeing the orange around the outside, which I like, but it's like this feels odd. Like it's not. It just doesn't look like what I'm used to seeing on my iPhone. It's going to be really interesting. Like I've seen a lot of people already saying, like a couple of days in, like we've seen this on Mastodon and on Blue Sky, saying like, I like the orange, but I'm getting tired of the orange already. That like for some people, it's like, oh, it's a lot. And it is a lot. And I remain very intrigued about why, because the blue, also lovely.
Yes.
Much more understated.
Yes.
Like the bright orange like this, I would love to know why they've done it. It's fascinating to me to go this extreme with it, but I am happy that I have it. I think it's very fun. You know what I mean? Like I'm the guy. I get orange. So I get gold iPhones. You know, like I always go for the most outlandish one. This is definitely it, and I think it looks great.
I agree. It looks beautiful.
So I want to talk about my iPhone transfer. This is part of the issue. So I like to do the direct transfer. So from one iPhone to the other one, it moves the most amount of stuff over, and for me tends to be done quicker because I keep all my photos on my device. For example, downloading all that stuff from the cloud is going to take forever, especially on what is admittedly pretty poor hotel Wi-Fi. that we have here at the hotel that we're in. The thing about direct transfer, so this is part of the quick start system. It's called direct transfer. The thing about the system, I have done it maybe 3 or 4 times now. It never works the first try. And like it gets stuck or it fails. And whenever you redo it, it always takes a couple of attempts to actually get it to start again. There seems to be this weird scenario that like if they've begun the handshake, trying to get them to redo that. Kind of similar to how we were trying to get that iPhone to connect to your iPad for the Final Cut camera. It's like they know that each other exists, but they're not communicating. What I also wanted to do this time, because you mentioned it, I looked it up, is to use a Thunderbolt cable to transfer between the two. So I bought an overpriced Thunderbolt cable from Apple, plugged it into both of them, and it was doing its thing. I had an issue. The battery life.
Yes.
I don't know how you're supposed to do this to make everyone, I guess, maybe very fast wireless chargers.
Maybe.
Because I have my iPhone on my travel charger, which is it's a slower wattage. It's not a super fast wattage. And then the Thunderbolt cable into the new phone, which was then being powered, is like daisy chaining. The battery was just going down, 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 down. I couldn't do anything about it. We were getting towards 20%. And I was like, well, this isn't going to work. At a 20% battery life, it started at like 70. We're 2 hours in, got 20% battery life, and it says like 6 hours remaining. So, well, this isn't going to work, is it?
No.
So I was like, well, at this point, let me just see what happens. So I pulled out the cable, and it was like, need to connect. And then it just reconnected. So it found
Using
itself
Wi-Fi.
over Wi-Fi. Yeah. So it said, at that point, said like 7 hours remaining. Plugged them in, went to sleep. Woke up in the morning. So this is like 11. I woke up at 4:45. 17 hours remaining. Oof. It's like, what has happened overnight? And the battery life on both of them, 30%. Now, they are both charging by cable in the wall.
Oh, man.
Something happened.
Clearly.
Something bad happened. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't great. So I just canceled the transfer and started an iCloud transfer, like an iCloud backup, which, again, it's like could take about 15 minutes to get started. 4 hours go by, and my phone is now ready to use, and it's very slowly downloading stuff. What I am going to do when I get, like now, you can see my iPhone's just full of just blank widgets
yeah.
Because it's downloading these apps very slowly. But I wanted to at least have it boot, and so I could like open the camera app or whatever. My plan is most likely when I get home, I'm just going to start again and do a direct transfer.
Yeah.
I don't know why it went the way that it did. It just did go that way. And this is kind of the scenarios. I know you've mentioned about doing iCloud, and iCloud is the most reliable at getting the thing to happen.
And it gets you up and running fast.
It gets you up and running
fast. It keeps
fast.
loading them in the background.
But for me, it's like it is the one that then will take the longest to be done.
Yes.
Because even if I was at home, to download the hundreds of gigabytes of photos, we're days in, you know? And like also, I open my messages app, there's like 3 threads in there.
Yeah, yep.
It's like all of this stuff will eventually find its way. But what I have the phone running now, that's great. I didn't transfer my SIM or anything like that. And it's on and working. I will let it do its thing because I'm leaving today. I'll let it do its thing. I'll play around with it. And then when I get home tomorrow, I will maybe plug them in again. I'll just set it next to each other, both charging, and it'll be done in a few hours or whatever. So I often wonder, is it like, I know it's creating its own network, but maybe if it doesn't have good Wi-Fi, maybe that makes it go a bit weird. I don't know what the problem is, but it just goes a bit strange. I do have I have 2 notes about the process of setting up an iPhone again now, because we go through this every year. One, Face ID, they have gotten so good at that scanning that you can be done in one face scan now.
Yeah.
And it's super quick. And they're like, hey, do you want to do it with a mask? You know, you can do Face ID with a mask. Say yes. You just do one more scan, and it's completely done. That's very impressive. Camera control by default, with setting up a new iPhone, default to no swiping. And you have to turn it on. That's interesting. I think that shows the future of that button, that it will just be a button that doesn't have the swipey swipes on it. And I think the thing that was most interesting to me, and I don't know what the ramifications of this are yet, even when you're restoring from an iCloud backup, the phone prompts you to set up Apple Intelligence again and asks you, like, what notifications do you want to be grouped and all that kind of stuff? Do you want priority notifications? So is it going to forget all of the preferences I have for Apple Intelligence from phone to phone? Like, if I have said, hey, don't summarize this app, is it going to do it again? I found that interesting. Like, why is that setting not coming over from phone to phone?
Right.
So I don't know what's going on there. And I did have a thought about transfers before we have a story to tell. It would be so great if when your iPhone arrived, it was already ready for you, like how Amazon does with the Kindle.
Yeah. I know this is a big request, right? But it feels like a very Apple thing to do.
Yep.
I realize that there's a lot going on here.
Yep.
I don't know what the security ramifications are.
Sure.
But the idea, they've already got the system where they can like lay these phones down in box and they get a software update.
Yep.
But the idea that your phone comes to you with your, if you choose, because Amazon lets you choose, already sort of like attached to your Apple ID. And maybe it's as simple as that they don't have that, that's not secure because they can't unlock or whatever. But like, it's an interesting idea to like, could they prepare your phone in some way so that when it comes out of the box, because the goal is always to make getting a new iPhone delightful.
Yep. And the startup process is bad. Even though it's better, it's just not a good experience. And I don't think there's anything that they can do with the way that it is currently working to ever make it a good experience. Because ultimately, it always requires an element of data download. Mm-hmm. And that is just not fun. Mm-hmm. You're waiting for something. And if any of it could be made easier, basically what I want is to open the box, turn it on, and use my new iPhone.
Yeah, the problem is going to be, any method where they're loading data from your iCloud account, even if it's encrypted, is a security hole.
Oh, for sure. But look, this is like a lot of things. The desire is what I have.
Right.
The problem is not mine.
Yeah. How do you improve? I'm sure there's a whole team at Apple that this is all they do is talk
because
about
they
how
have,
do they improve,
right?
And they have.
We talk about it every year.
Yes.
And there are still quirks in this system, like what I've experienced. But when it works, which it does eventually work, it's great. And also just all of the ways in which over time they ask you fewer questions. Mm-hmm. They ask a lot of questions now, but they used to re-ask every preference.
Yeah.
Just maddening. And they also have choice now about how you'll do it. Like, do you want to do an iCloud backup to restore? Do you want to do it from another phone? Do you want to do it from a computer? I probably should have tried that. Someone wrote in and said, like, backing up to a Mac and downloading from a Mac is actually still a good experience. An upgrading wrote in to say that.
Interesting.
I don't know, but they say it worked for them.
I don't know.
But you have options, and even when you go into, like, hey, I want to do, say, the iCloud restore, you can have some preference about what parts you want to restore and all that kind of stuff. It's better. It's still not a good experience. It's an okay experience. A good experience is when people are excited to get a new iPhone, you can just start using it, even if it's like the most simple experience.
That's why I think the iCloud backup is the best one.
Because you can just start using it.
Because you can just start using it, and the rest of it just sort of fills in, and
you
that's
may have
gotten
sold
better
me
over
on
time.
it again. I mean, the problem that I have...
You have an enormous number of photos, but that also makes your wired transfer or your device
That's one of the things that makes it so long.
So long.
I have 0.5 terabyte of local storage used on my iPhone.
It's a lot.
At some point, I'm going to break. But this is why I choose the direct... The reason I choose the direct transfer is, for me, just because of the way that my life has been, I'm always getting a new iPhone in America, like when I'm in a hotel. And hotel Wi-Fi is so bad, always, for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I figured the direct transfer would get me what I want quickest. But it doesn't always work. I wasn't the only one that tried to do this, and I didn't have the worst experience. So, our friend Casey Liss, who we love so much, Casey was very excited to get his new iPhone. We got in the car. On our way back to the hotel, Casey has already started to do the direct transfer. Bold.
Yeah.
Bold. He had
Bold move.
He
Let's see
brought a
how it
battery
works
with
for
him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had a cable.
Yep.
He was doing it. He's showing us screens. He's like, look, camera control stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm setting up my iPhone. I was like, that is bold. The context for this, we got our phone. It's like 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Casey is leaving the hotel to catch a flight at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're on a real tight, we have less than 12 hours to go.
Mm-hmm.
We have a real tight clock for old Casey. That's 9 hours, right? 7 p.m., 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pushing. He's pushing it. I don't know how much stuff he has on his iPhone, but that's pushing it. Also, his wife's not happy about this.
No.
So Erin's with us. Erin's been great this week. She puts up a lot with that man.
Yeah.
She wasn't suffering this.
No.
So we're in the hotel bar. Casey's phone, still doing its thing. All of a sudden, cancelled. It says, not Casey. I don't know, maybe. It says, cancelled. His iPhone. Big red triangle.
Yeah.
Didn't
Gone.
work.
Failure.
Casey's freaking out. He dropped one phone on top of the other phone.
Oh, man.
He's having a whole time.
Yeah. Best part of this, by the way, is that the transfer is canceled, but his SIM card has succeeded in being transferred. So he has a non...
His eSIM, you don't need to do this, right? Like, they ask you if you want to do this. I do it after.
Yeah.
Because now Casey is in a scenario where he has 2 iPhones.
Yeah. One with all his stuff.
One with all his stuff.
And a broken one that's also his cell phone.
Because the one with all his stuff has no data connection anymore.
Yeah. Right.
It was at this moment that he went red. Because he is realizing what is going on.
Yeah.
It is now 8, 9 p.m. around that kind of time. So he has 2 iPhones. Neither of them do what he wants.
Yeah.
And Erin says to him, you better have your boarding pass. Because Casey's boarding pass is on his iPhone.
Yeah.
Along with everything else he might need.
I think what Aaron said was, well, I'm getting on that plane tomorrow morning.
That's actually a good point. One of the worst parts of this for Casey is he has an audience of about 7 people. All of us who are hanging out in the hotel watching him.
This would be the highest stress for me.
Yeah.
Is I don't want an audience. When I'm troubleshooting something and I've got like family members around watching me struggle with something, that is the worst feeling in the world to me. I'm working the problem here. I'm not, what I will say to them, because in that moment, I'm not very nice.
Yes.
I will say, this is not a performance.
That's a great point.
Go somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
You know what? I agree with you. Because I get really flustered and I get frustrated, as he was, and I don't need people to see me.
No.
And also make fun of me.
But Casey,
oh boy, will we making fun of him.
And Casey,
oh boy.
And Casey is so nice, and I did feel for him. Behind the laughter, I also felt for him because he was in a bad. But then again, he also got himself into that situation by making bad decisions. And this is the thing: we are all, before it failed, we all said, Casey, what are you doing?
Don't do this.
Just do it at home.
Yes.
Turn it on and don't set it up and just play with it to play with it, but leave your functional phone functional until you get home.
Yeah. Now, I'll say I did it too, but I had all night. Mm-hmm. So my expectation was it will work. If it doesn't, I'll cancel it. And I had like a whole backup plan. I also had a whole separate phone, the iPhone Air, which is just sitting there doing nothing.
Yep.
That started from 0, the iPhone Air. His issue was he was leaving the hotel so soon. That was the problem. That like, even if it worked, you were pushing it.
Yeah.
Now, it turned out he canceled it, started again, and it did the transfer. Although he did send me a message this morning, I think it was to our group chat, and said, I have no iMessages.
Right.
My iMessage history is gone. Now, maybe that will come back to him. Because that might sync from the cloud.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
Also, we heard from him.
We heard from him. So we know
that's a good sign.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Some device was able to send a message.
But one of the things that I love about the Podcastathon and this time in Memphis, it's just a lot of hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things to do with my friends, like everyone, is we all take the mick out of each other. And we give each other a hard time. Mm-hmm. It's a great time. My thing for Casey was, I turned to him at one point and said, not only are you struggling with this, you've got a story, but I'm telling your story on my podcast before you tell it on yours.
Yeah. Casey can tell it on ATP, but everybody who listens to both Upgrade and ATP will be like, I've already heard Casey's.
Yep. So we'll get Casey's version. Go through it.
We'll get Casey's version.
Yeah, which will be more. There's more detail that we don't have.
Right, and he'll be cursing us.
Yes.
Which is great.
Now we get to take his moment from him.
Yeah.
And I just think that's delicious. What a great time.
That's pretty good. Love you, Casey.
This episode is brought to you by Interconnected. Today's biggest tech trends wouldn't be possible without the digital infrastructure that powers them. From the edge compute to cloud systems, ultra-reliable networks, and everything in between, that's why you should check out the new podcast, Interconnected, a new video and podcast series from Equinix that offers a rare look at the technology driving the innovations of tomorrow. Through candid conversations with industry experts and visionary thinkers, Interconnected's hosts guide you through emerging megatrends in tech, the infrastructure making them possible, and the connected future they're shaping. The first episode of Interconnected covers the AI renaissance in the medical field. You'll hear about world-changing breakthroughs in healthcare, including rapid diagnostics, personalized medicine, optimized clinic research, and supercharged drug discovery, all promising developments that are only made possible by the infrastructure that supports the computational models that power them. Without the near-instantaneous network of interconnected data systems, we would not be on the verge of an AI-assisted medical renaissance. I listened to this episode because I think Interconnected was sponsoring, so I wanted to check it out. And as you would hope from a podcast like this, and they do, they have some great subject matter experts on the show to dig into the subjects that they're covering. And it was fascinating to hear about the beginnings of a new kind of preventative care that the analysis of huge data sets can enable. This is actually something we were talking about with some people at St. Jude too. Discover the digital infrastructure powering today's biggest tech trends with Interconnected. Follow Interconnected on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Our thanks to Interconnected for their support of this show and all of Relay. So let's talk about the iPhone Air.
Yeah.
The little one.
I recommend holding it between two fingers down toward the bottom.
Nobody's done that.
Personal balance thing. Just try
Nobody's done that.
Try it. It's so good. It feels so good.
Obviously immediate how thin a light is. And
yeah.
it
does what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Kind of impossibly so. When you pick it up, first time I picked it up, I was like, oh. Because I wait until I opened mine. I didn't pick it up at the Apple Store. And that is incredibly thin. And I told you a fun fact, but I'll share it with our listeners too. My friend Austin Evans, he's a YouTuber, and he made a funny short where he got some calipers. At the thickest point, the iPhone Air is thicker than the iPhone 17. So the camera area. And he kind of pontificated, which I think is correct. The camera sticks out further because there's stuff behind it. Because they're putting so much stuff in the plateau at the top that it actually makes that bump at its thickest point thicker than the 17. It does not matter for this phone, but that is just a fun trivia point. Because I feel like that could come up one day. Because this isn't actually at its thickest point the thinnest phone, even though it's thinnest everywhere else. Right. Like, it is so thin, it's like the buttons look weird, right? Because it's like the buttons are basically the entire edge of the rail. It's beautiful, and it's so clearly the future. Yeah. One way or another, whatever it is they're hoping to build with this technology, this is different to the Mini and the Plus and everything else that came before it. This is a lot of effort and a lot of work to create something new. This isn't just, hey, here is a bigger version of the regular iPhone, or here's a smaller version of the regular iPhone. This is a technical leap to create something so thin and so durable. There's been lots of bend tests now. This thing doesn't bend under any sort of regular circumstances. The glass is incredibly strong, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mentioned last time when we talked about the announcement that this has an iPhone X feel to me, which is they are experimenting with a new wave of technologies in order to achieve what they think the future of the phone is. Yep. And I hear people when they say, I don't need my phone to be ultra thin and ultra light, but at the same time, I feel like ultra thin and ultra light is a direction I don't think if you imagine the smartphone of 10 years from now, it's going to be thicker than today's smartphones, right? That's not going to happen. Yep. The directions are clear. And Apple's vision anyway, we'll see where it actually goes, but Apple's vision, I think now that they're trying out is we want to make the thinnest part of the phone as thin as possible, and we want to build a pod for the the stuff that requires more, and we'll place that at an appropriate point, like the top. And then they're going to go down this path. They're going to have, because the miniaturization of all the other components means that you're left with, if all of the other components go somewhere else, all you're left with is the screen. And because the screen has such amazing, width and height compared to the little pod, even a thin battery across that width and the height is a lot of battery. And the Air shows that. But that also points to the future, which is you could envision Apple thinking about a design language for its products where they are impossibly thin and light. It feels like it's just a screen. It's actually just a screen with a battery behind it. Because even a thin battery spread over the entire width and height of a screen is a lot of battery. If you start to think of it that way, and then Apple says, "Oh, that iconic plateau that we've built into all these phones now, that's going to be the outboard motor of of our devices. It's going to be a little blob at the top." You could imagine this for an iPad as well, like thinner and thinner and thinner, because I think from a design standpoint, the ideal, and I mean that ideal product is something that is essentially just a screen.
Yeah, which is because even when you have the pod, you're not they put it in a place where you don't hold it.
Exactly.
So when you hold it, you don't notice that.
Yes.
When we were at the football game, I was paying attention to people and their devices. And I was watching so many people stuff phones into pockets that were too small for them. Mm-hmm. Men, women, and everybody else. Like everyone.
Yeah. People in tiger mascot costumes.
Exactly. They were trying it
Razorback
too.
mascots, yes.
They had phones too big.
Yeah.
Huge, furry, fluffy phones.
Suey pig, your phone's too big.
Too big. And I found it to be interesting to see. And it made me think about the fact that it is kind of ridiculous in a way that we all carry this thing around with us. It actually kind of comes to the crossbody straps in a way, where it's like we just all have these things with us and we have to put them somewhere and they don't always fit. Like I saw a guy, he had a pack of gum in his pocket, like a plastic pack of gum, or it might be something else. People chew stuff. I don't know what it is. I heard Zins. I don't know what this means.
Oh, yeah. Those are like nicotine pouches.
So he had some of those in a pocket that he then tried to put his big iPhone into. And he did it, but it looked ridiculous. And I just bought some new chinos and they've already got the mark on them from my iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like, this is silly what we're doing here. So trying to make these things better,
less obtrusive, or fit better in
is good.
How we live our lives.
Now, the other side of this, though, is that I think that the Air is a little bigger than I want, screen size-wise. It's something that I forgot about, that it's actually... It's not. I don't think it's the plus size, but it's like a little bit in between. If I'm just doing this off my dome, I could check this in a second, and I will. But it is a little bit bigger. It does feel nicer to use because it's thinner, so it's kind of easier to grasp. But that is something that I'm kind of getting used to in using this phone as well. But it's beautiful, and it's clearly the future. I would say that the one camera would be an issue for me, I think. So you kind of can't really take pictures of anything close. I was wondering if they were going to... Because of the ultra-wide, you have the macro thing that it does, which I don't like, but it can get you a picture of something. If it's close, you want to take a picture of a label or something. It just doesn't work with this phone. You have to move it far enough away, or maybe take it from far away and do the 2x crop so you can get something close. There's kind of no way around it. This is one of those things that there's just physics is the problem. The sensor won't allow it.
You could think of it almost as a 1.0 phone again, right? It's like when we had the original iPhone and those early iPhones with one camera. It's kind of like that again.
It is.
Where they're hitting a reset button. Because over time, you can see if this is a direction they go, there will be more and more technology that will be miniaturized and put in the plateau.
Yep.
And that includes cameras, but they're not there. This is the cutting edge first gen. For all that implies, you get to be the first one to have a product like this ever, but it's also the first one of these, and so it's got a lot of issues.
So I have the light blue one, or sky blue, whatever they're calling it, and Brad was the pen addict. Brad, he was with us. It was great to see Brad. He was saying to me, he's like, "Oh, I saw that Federico got the blue one, but I like yours, the white one." And I was like, "Well, no, Federico got a black one, and I got a blue one." And he's like, "No, you did not." I was like, "Yes, I did. That is blue.
That's blue?
That is blue."
Okay.
It's not blue.
It's not.
It's nice, though. I like it.
It's white with a blue undertone.
I like the color. Mm-hmm. It's
pretty.
pleasant.
Yeah.
But it is, to call it blue is quite a thing to say. I got the bumper case for it, too. The bumper case ruins the phone.
Ooh.
I didn't think it would, but it does. So, what the bumper case does is if you hold the phone, like just the phone, it's super thin.
Yes.
But when you hold the phone how a regular person would hold a phone to actually use it, well, now
it's just an iPhone.
thick again.
Yeah, it's thick again. They thickened it.
Yeah, because it's about the bumper case sides feel to me. I haven't done measurements, but feels basically as thick as a regular iPhone.
Right.
So when you're holding the phone, it's still light, but you're not benefiting from the thinness. I do feel, this may be a controversial take, probably not, but this is my take. Do not buy this iPhone and put it in a case. You've wasted your money. If you are not willing to use this without a case, don't buy it.
Right, because you should get a phone that has a battery and proper cameras and all the other things. The reason you use this phone is to make it light.
Putting this phone in a case just ruins what's good about this phone.
Interesting. That might be controversial, but that's a great take. That's a great review take. There it is, the Hurley take.
And that is a take for someone who doesn't use cases, right? So like I'm willing to die on this hill.
Right. Well, I mean, if you are not in a case, you will die on that hill. If you had had a case, you might have survived. No, I think you make a logical point, which is there are so many concessions you have to make to buy this phone in order to get a feature that if you then wrap it in a case, you have lost.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter that Apple's like, we built a thin case. It doesn't matter. And like even the bumper case, it doesn't matter because it has to protect the sides. It's kind of the point of it. It has to wrap around it. And once it's done that,
you've lost it.
You've lost it. Any case, I feel like, just any case will always make the phone thicker. And then what is the point? Because all cases make phones thicker, but phones are not usually about being thin.
Right. Yes.
This phone's whole thing is it's thin. And as you say, you give up so much to get that. If you put a case on it, you lose that. Even if it ends up thinner than the phone you used before, I just think you're just not getting what you want.
I'll give you a counterpoint, and this is David Schaub in the chat has suggested this as well, which is if you're the counterpoint is, what if you're a case person and now you've got the thinnest and lightest phone in a case ever?
I don't think that. I just don't think it does. I get the point.
But I agree with you. At that point, save your money, get more cameras, get more battery, and just have a big phone.
Yes, because it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make. This is a phone to be used without a case. This is how it's designed. This is how it works well. Outside of that, I don't know why you're doing it.
All right.
I got the crossbody strap. Too here. I'm a little bit disappointed with the fiddliness of the attachment system. Now, I knew it was this way when they showed it, but I was hoping Apple's going to do something different. Not the strap itself, but what you have to do to your case.
Oh, yeah. You've got like little tassels coming off your case there.
You have to thread these
it's like
little
you could
thread
fit a fez
pieces
on there,
through the holes, which then you attach via a very clever magnets. There is so much clever stuff in the strap itself. This thing is full of magnets. The entire... So you've got magnets that attach to the little tassels. The dangles.
Yeah.
Then the strap itself, so like on backpack straps or any strap, you always have kind of like where it overlaps and you can loosen or tighten based on the overlap. There is magnets all the way through this to keep it closed. And the actual system of lengthening and shortening it is nice. Now, I'm really bad at doing this. In all bags, I can never work out how to make a strap shorter or tighter. I'm very bad at this. I still struggled with this, but it was nice. It was easier because of the way they've done it. You kind of, and there will always be a slack in the cable until you tighten it to a level. So you would move one, and then you have to move the other, and that would change the height and change the slack in it. but eventually it will always need to be magnetized closed, the two pieces. And that kind of, in a way, helps me understand that you've made an adjustment. No, not just because my inclination is to just keep making adjustments until I end up in the same spot again, because I don't know what I'm doing. So there's a lot going on in here. But to attach it to the case, you have to put these little threads through holes, and you have to have these little pieces of metal dangling off the case. That feels not good to me, because now I would take the strap off when I'm at home.
And your phone is, I mean, you have to take it out of the case.
Exactly.
Instead of taking the strap off, you should just take the case off.
And that is fine.
Right. Because otherwise you end up where your air, which people watching the video, don't worry if you're just listening to the audio podcast, because we're using it to record so you can't see it.
Yeah.
But I am watching it right now, and it is ridiculous.
Yes.
Because there's little dangly bits coming off of it.
So what you would do, and for the air specifically, if it was what I'm recommending, you would do this to use it outside, and then when you get home, take it out and use it properly.
Pop it off.
As it should be used. Mm-hmm. And maybe people that want to do this with any phone, you end up with two cases. You have your lanyard, like crossbody case, and your regular case, but that also feels silly. And all crossbody straps have some attachment mechanism. I think some are better than others. They always have some kind of... There's always something dangling off something if you want to take it off the strap. I had just hoped Apple would have a better system than this one, because the amount of effort that's gone into magnetizing this, I was maybe hoping for some kind of magnet lock system, kind of like how you attach the battery to the Vision Pro.
Right.
Like push in and lock. Mm-hmm. That would serve, and it maybe you'd have some divots in the back of your case because of that. But I think that would be a better system than this one. I just don't think it leaves your iPhone in normal situations looking very good.
No, it's got little dangly bits.
And you wouldn't take the dangly bits off either, because you kind of have to rethread them through the case. Yeah. So I think that the execution of the strap itself is very, very, very good. But the attachment mechanism leaves something to be desired, I think. I did also see, I think we both saw it, the Beats case. Do you see the Beats case that has a little integrated kickstand? Mm-hmm. That is genius design. It has a little pod that hangs off the case. You open it up, and then you can put your phone on a little kickstand and watch a video on it or whatever. And I just thought that was really cool. We'll have more to say on these iPhones.
For sure.
You're getting an Air 2, right?
Yes.
No, so over the next weeks, we'll have more to say on them. These are basically just first impressions, and mostly my first impressions. But you did get AirPods 3.
Yes,
AirPods
I did.
Pro 3.
Pro 3.
What has been your experience of those so far?
So the noise canceling seems great, although one of the reasons that I bought them is I'm going to take a flight.
So we'll both have that experience.
I was surprised. I usually am pretty default with the AirPods Pro. I think I maybe go down to a smaller size with the ear tips. It was weird. I put them in my ears, and my right ear didn't feel comfortable.
Yep.
But my left ear did, which is very weird for me because I'm usually always in the same size.
Yep.
So I went down a size, and it still felt a little weird, but it felt better. So I went down another size.
Yes.
And then it felt better, but I could also hear the sound getting in from the noise canceling. I could hear a little more sound. I think it was leaking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've got to spend some time with it, and I really got to mix and match. But
I'm not sold.
I was surprised that the fit felt very different.
Yes.
And I don't think it felt better.
No. I'm very mixed on AirPods Pro 3 right now.
I mean, I might get used to them, but my initial thought was not, oh yeah, this is the stuff. It was more like, oh, this is kind of not pleasant.
The case is bigger, and I don't like that. So everything's getting bigger.
Yeah, with less battery, I think.
Case is bigger with less battery. I don't get that, and I'm not happy about that. Mm-hmm. I also went down. I went down one size, and I expect I'll get used to it too, but the feeling of putting these in my ears is not pleasant. No, it's painful.
It's like I'm shoving them in.
Yes.
Whereas with my old ones, I felt like they just went in. They just popped right in. These are like you're inserting them in your ears.
And this is the foam.
Yeah,
right?
'cause
Like,
it's
I
that
have
stiffer
used
foam.
AirPods Pro foam tips, and this is what they feel like.
Yeah.
And I am. So I've only tried the noise cancellation in my hotel room. I think it might be too strong.
Interesting.
For my taste.
See what you think on a plane.
Exactly.
Right? That's the real question.
And also then just getting used to it. Like, I'm keen to see how they are. And as you say, it might just be you get used to this. Because
sure,
this is not a complaint that I've heard from anyone that has had them for multiple days.
But I've used AirPods Pro 2 for a long time.
Same.
And I use in-ear monitors all the time. And so I've gotten used to some different kinds of feels. This is not those feels. There's something different here. And I may also get used to it. But I think it's interesting. In fact, you only get, it's like from a commercial, you only get a first chance. You only get one chance to make a first impression, right?
You only get a first chance to make one impression.
To make a first impression. And so I try to honor that, right?
Yep.
Because you never get that chance again.
Yep.
So I'm going to honor my initial response to putting the AirPods Pro 3 in, even if I decide that it's a thing that I got used to over time.
Yep.
I think it's an interesting data point that I put them in and I thought, ugh.
I am exactly in the same boat as you. My first impression with these was, this feels like a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, because first, it just was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then I went down a size, and it was possible. And so I was wearing them last night. I fell asleep with them in, and that was it. I haven't got any pain. And they're not painful. They are just not comfortable to put in the first time.
Yeah.
And maybe over time, the tips conform more to my ear shape.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Or I just get used to it.
Maybe.
I don't know. All I know is I did not enjoy it as much as I enjoyed putting my previous AirPods in my ears.
Yeah.
And you say it may be that you're like, oh, you know what? These are better in absolutely every way. I haven't had that kind of experience yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to doing some A/B testing on the flights and all that.
And I had zero fit problems before.
Yeah.
Comfortability problems, which I know some people did, and this would solve that because these things aren't going to come out.
I found it deeply weird that one of my ears with the default size felt fine, and the other ear didn't. That's never happened to me before.
With AirPods Pro 1, I used to wear it mismatched. With AirPods Pro 2, I didn't. But I used to wear one medium, one small.
I don't know, man.
So
interesting.
It's going to be, I agree, it's going to be interesting to see how I fare with these over time. I don't remember how I felt when I first tried AirPods Pro. I don't remember what it felt like to put them in my ear because I've always been pretty adverse to that before.
Yeah, well, and I've been using in-ear headphones so long
and
now
I don't like that.
That it's never
the style of earphone that goes in, actually in the ear, not on the ear. You know, like you just like the regular earpods. Yeah, I'd never been a fan of that, but I tried it and I was like, you know what, I'm willing to like this. I don't remember. I know my first impression exists on the internet. I think Zoe is pointing out in Discord. Go to the podcast archives.
Yes,
right?
That's
it exists out there. But and it may have been that I was quicker to dismiss any issue because I got to experience the noise cancelling, and that blew me away because I didn't think I was going to like it because I had previously not liked it. This is the first time using AirPods Pro where I'm like, oh, I'm not sure that this noise cancelling makes me feel very good. So...
yeah, I only use noise canceling in it is very strong, and I know you've had those issues before where you've said like it feels a little weird.
Yes,
like your head is kind of
under pressure
in a weird space. Yeah. So we'll see. Most of the time I'm using the adaptive mode, which is so great because it filters out noises that are like, I live near a freeway, so it'll filter out the hiss of the freeway, but if a car is coming by, I know exactly where that car is. I can hear that. That's brilliant. It is rare that I'm in full noise canceling and it's like on an airplane, or if I'm working in the backyard and the neighbor is using a circular saw to cut pavers for their backyard, which has been happening for many weeks now. Those are the kinds of times that I'll use that. So that'll be part of the test, I guess, is living with them.
I use it quite a bit. Like I use it at home, like washing the dishes. I will actually go straight into noise cancellation.
Yeah, I will too.
Right? Stuff like that.
Because I don't want to hear the clank of the dishes.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, here's the thing.
Early days.
What I know is if I get used to it, which I do expect I will, I can tell it's better. Like I know it's better.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and so like that is interesting to me. That like I am very eager. As I was saying this to you before, I want it to be good on a plane because I want to get rid of these AirPods Max. I'm done with this pair of headphones. So like on the way here, at moments that were seemingly random, my right ear cup would go. It wasn't the microphone because that's a different noise. Like if you mess with the microphone, it was just explosion of static in my right ear. I hate wearing them right now because I hate the way all of this sounds. What I am hoping to be able to do, because I then tried, so my long haul flight, I used these, and the sound was great. Noise cancellation is incredible. Mm-hmm. And then on my shorter flight, I used my AirPods Pro 2, and I had to have the volume of my iPad basically to maximum. And I did not need to do that with the Max.
Right.
What I'm hoping is the AirPods Pro 3 will get me most of the way there, and then I can just put a regular pair of headphones in my suitcase for recording podcasts, and I'll be happy. Because even right now, I just don't like how I sound using these with the whole setup that we have. It just doesn't sound like a regular pair of monitoring headphones. Like I feel like my ears are vibrating with bass, even though I had them set to the off mode. Like it's not doing noise cancellation, it's not doing transparency. There's just something about wearing these AirPods Max that it makes me uncomfortable when I'm talking. As you know, I'm very sensitive to my own voice. Like I hear it a lot, and I'm very sensitive to it. Like I think I mentioned this recently, but so I could talk about it more in full now. So like with the updates that we did for Widgetsmith, I made some videos talking about the features, and they're put into the app. Some of them are loaded into the app, so they're quick to watch. You don't have to like stream them or download them. I gave them to Underscore, and he compressed them to put them in the app. And I was like, can we change the settings on my audio? Because like I don't like the way that it makes me sound. If it's feasible to do without increasing the file size, I would love a higher bitrate audio. He's like, oh yeah, I can do it, and it basically changed nothing. And he did it for me. I was like, great. And Underscore said, I cannot tell the difference between these two files, but I can really tell the sound of my voice when it's overcompressed, like from a lossy compression. But of course I can. Like I know my voice in a way that regular people don't know their own voices, because I listen to hours and hours of myself when editing. So I'm just very I'm going way off on a tangent that nobody needs right now. I realize. I apologize, and I'm now just going to rip cord straight out. I'm intrigued to see what my experience of AirPods Pro is, but I agree with you. My first impression has not been a good one.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see.
We'll see. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform that is designed to help you stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just getting started or scaling a business, Squarespace will give you everything you need to claim your domain, showcase your offerings of a professional website, grow your brand, and get paid all in one place. With Squarespace, you can make the most of Blueprint AI, Squarespace's AI-enhanced website builder that lets you quickly and easily build a site that is bespoke to your business. You just input some basic information about your industry and goals, and we already love Squarespace for their professionally designed and award-winning website templates, so however you get started, you'll have beautiful design options with no experience required. So one of the things that I absolutely love about Squarespace is how easy they make it so I can go from an idea in my head to a website online. I don't know how to write the code that I would need to do that, but with Squarespace, all of their tools are so easy to use. It's drag and drop. You choose fonts, you choose colors, you choose the layout, and you do it in a way that makes sense to you visually. But they have loads of other features. Like, for example, I'll tell you something that might be a little bit more niche, but I think is super cool. You can upload, say, video content to Squarespace and have a video library that you can organize and showcase on beautiful video pages. But you can also sell access to your video library by adding a paywall to your content. And you can do this for any content with Squarespace. Makes it perfect for building online courses, tutorials, and premium workshops. Head to squarespace.com/upgrade and you can sign up for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, use the offer code UPGRADE and you'll save 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain. That is squarespace.com/upgrade with the offer code UPGRADE and you'll get 10% off your first purchase and show your support for the show. Our thanks to Squarespace for their support of this show and all of Relay.
Yay.
So during the ad break, Jason, you went up and you took a look at the iPad Pro. Is it
still
recording?
running? Still running.
That's fantastic. I'd love to see it. Rumor Roundup time.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, buddy. Ming-Chi Kuo is reporting that Apple is getting ready to launch a MacBook Pro with a touchscreen OLED display next year. So these rumors have been going for a while, but we've got
Mark Gurman wrote a piece that mentioned this, and he said, last week Ming-Chi Kuo reported what I reported in 2023. Like, take a victory lap. Okay, it's fair. He did break it. He did.
Different reporting, though.
Yeah.
Right? Kuo is talking about the fact that parts are being lined up.
Yes, right.
Mark knows the internal
He was
decisions.
talking about the strategy internally, and Kuo is talking about they're making this
He's
thing.
right, but we need both of them, I think, to kind of really narrow this stuff down. So it is there are two pieces of information here. So at touchscreen, we'll come back to that in a second.
Sure.
There are two things that I find intriguing here. The expectation is this is the M5 MacBook Pro, and it will not come until 2026.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense, right?
No.
So Kuo says early 26. So maybe it's like January, February, and they just don't revise the MacBook Pro by the end of the year.
Right. Well, there were reports. Gurman said that the fall launch of the MacBook Pro was not going to happen.
Yeah.
Or probably not going to happen, and it would become early next year.
Yes.
Which is really interesting because that would say that the OLED touchscreen MacBook Pro is imminent, essentially. It will come early next year.
It's the next one.
As an M5. When I had thought we might have another year before this.
It feels like this is the thing that you would do with the next one, which is like the anniversary redesigned MacBook Pro, right? That's the expectation. But I think it's very interesting, right? To be like, there won't be. So will we get an M5 and an M6 next year?
I mean, they've done it before. They could do that, or they could move it to a different schedule and have it pop in the winter or the spring.
Some of this stuff is interesting because it's like when Apple moved to Apple Silicon, it's very much like, haha, they won't have to be on Intel's timeline anymore. But now they're on their own.
They're on their own
seems
timeline.
like I think it doesn't always work the way they want.
It felt more logical to me that they would launch just a speed bumped M5 this fall or early next year, and then in the fall they would do a completely new MacBook Pro that would be, even though it would only be 9 months later, it's okay because it's totally new, and that's why they did it.
And maybe you don't want a touchscreen immediately or something like that. But yeah, if we're looking at the reporting as it states right now, early 2026, and that would be the M5 MacBook Pro, and it will have an OLED touchscreen, which I think finally is my response to that. I think Macs need touchscreens. You do not need to be pressing the close button with your finger, right?
Touch it on a laptop is not a primary interface. It's an additional interface because people are used to being able to touch stuff now.
I would like to. In front of me right now is a Google Doc. I would like to. My hands are right in front of my laptop. Just
scroll it.
Scroll it.
Yeah, that's what I said this like 10 years ago when Jamie had a Chromebook with a touchscreen. When I would use that Chromebook, the one thing I would use the touchscreen for essentially was to scroll, and occasionally there'd be like a dialogue and my hand would be close and I just tap it because I'm used to it, because we're all used to touching screens now. The intent is not that you're going to sit there and intensively be reaching out
typing
and
on a digital keyboard on the screen.
It's not. That's not what you're doing there. That's not.
Again, it's like we know what this is like
when I use my iPad,
because we have iPads with Magic Keyboards
attached, and I still touch it.
Yes.
It's just different.
Yes, because it is just, as you say, is a secondary medium for interacting with the display. I don't even really think they need to make much change to macOS, like basically at all, to begin with this. And if people really dig it, maybe they do some bits and bobs. And again, I think iPadOS is an example of this, because there are touch targets on iPadOS now that are too small. You tap them and they get bigger, so you can tap them again. The close dialog stuff, right?
Sure.
Like, it's fine, and I'm excited about it. In this report, though, he does reiterate a thing I had forgotten about, which is that there is still expected to be a low-cost MacBook this year, but it would not have a touchscreen.
Sure.
Touchscreen would come to that in 2027, he says. I think once there is a Mac with a touchscreen, that will roll out quickly to all of them.
Or all laptops, certainly.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
No, put a touchscreen on a Mac Mini.
Or an iMac. And you just touch the top of the Mac Mini, and it becomes a trackpad.
Well, you touch it, but you don't see it because it doesn't have a screen. But there is a touch screen panel in there, but it affects things on your screen, but you just have to work that one out.
It's just a trackpad.
You got to be detached from that.
Your Mac Mini is your trackpad.
I think that we would, if we got this in 2026, my bet would be by the end of 2026, there is a MacBook Air with a touchscreen.
I would assume so.
And it just won't be an OLED.
It won't be OLED, but it'll be a touchscreen. Yeah,
I think that will come very quickly.
I think you're probably right. The low cost, I mean, that's wild. If we're getting, maybe it's just because we've been so focused on all these iPhones for so long.
Yep.
The idea that low cost Mac laptop might be next month.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Along with some iPads and some other stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was an article, I think Mac Rumors had it. About like, here are the things that Apple expected to do, and I think it was reporting from Mark Gurman. We've spoken about it in the past, right? Like his list of stuff.
Sure.
There's still like a lot of stuff. Like we didn't get an Apple TV update. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. There's like any of the home products.
Yeah. And there doesn't need to be an event, per se. They can just do this whenever. But there's a lot of stuff.
Week of press releases that they do.
Exactly.
They could do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is still on track for this year. And again, I just completely forgotten about it because we're focused on other things.
Yeah.
We've spoken about the iPhone 17 line, obviously a lot in this episode. Early reports are indicating that it is performing well, sales-wise. Ming-Chi Kuo has said that the iPhone 17 line is selling better than the iPhone 16 in its beginning, approximately 25% higher demand. And even though the iPhone Air does still seem to be in supply, like it seems to be the phone that you can buy, which is leading people to say, like, oh, nobody wants it, Kuo has said Apple produced 3 times the amount of the Air than they did the Plus. So trying to gauge response is not
because you don't know the whole equation when you do that.
And I think that the iPhone Air will be a slow roll product. Someone will buy one, and then you will buy one.
Yeah, it's not necessarily an early adopter. No. First week of sales kind of product. It's you see it in the store when you're upgrading your phone. You're like, oh, I want this one. I want that one. Or you see somebody with it and you say, that's really awesome. I want that too. Yeah, absolutely. It is. I think Gurman's report today, as we record this, suggests something like that too. That it seems to be doing well.
The information reported that the standard iPhone 17 model has had a very strong opening weekend and has exceeded Apple's expected demand. They have said that output with suppliers has been increased by 30% to meet this demand. But what they are suggesting, which I don't necessarily agree with yet, like I think it's too early to tell, but they're suggesting that this could be an issue for the overall revenue of the iPhone if iPhone 17 demand is cannibalizing Pro demand. My gut would say that wouldn't be the case. My gut says the Pro is still going to sell as well as the Pro sells, but they are going to encourage more people to upgrade now because the iPhone 17 is so good. And the story of the iPhone 17 has been, this is the one to buy because it just has so much, is what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, and it is the kind of the overriding sentiment from reviewers. So my gut feeling on this is that people who have non-Pro iPhones are being incentivized to upgrade this year, but people who buy Pro iPhones are not switching away. That's my gut.
Yeah, I think there's probably some truth to that because this is an actual lower-end flagship model that loses all of those limitations. So if you're on that track, it's a great. This is the thing that you lose track of when we have the window of year to year and we have the window of all of these different models. Is thinking year to year. On the 17, it's an enormous upgrade. And it's to features that the Pro users have had for years, but it is still huge. And if you're kind of on that track, you look at it and think, oh, well, that's great. Let's do that. In a way that if you're thinking in a Pro mindset, you don't necessarily think that way.
Exactly. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like most people are most likely to stick with the phone that they have and get the new one.
I think you're right. Unless they're tempted by something like the Air, right?
But then they're still good money.
Yeah, Apple wins in all scenarios.
Mark Gurman is reporting that Apple's Answers Knowledge and Information team may be shipping their own model for world knowledge on the iPhone as soon as March next year. So this is the project that, you know how they call, Siri's for this, ChatGPT is for world knowledge, but Apple has no world knowledge, and it was sort of kind of building their own team of crawlers and all that kind of stuff. It seems like now they are targeting for this to be released with the upgrades to Siri, which are expected to come in March.
Right.
Still feels so far away.
I know.
6 months away.
Yeah.
And I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't buy it, but we'll see. So this would see them already kind of offering their own competition for the integration that they have with OpenAI. But there's an interesting wrinkle to this. Mark Gurman has also 5 days later reported Robbie Walker, who is in charge of this team after the Gianandrea shakeup, is leaving Apple. So it's not known where he's going yet. It's probably Meta.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Or maybe.
But I think his position, this is the least surprising news of the year, because after what happened to him in all the reporting about how, he really was savaged in the media.
Yeah, I'm going to read the quote again in a minute. So.
I think there's no way that guy could stay employed at Apple.
Interesting.
I think whether it's them suggesting he leave or him realizing there's no way he can stay, I think after you go through all of this, it's kind of untenable.
He's kind of, I say unfortunately for him, he has kind of taken like shrapnel from Gianandrea being moved away.
He is the symbol of everything that's wrong with Siri.
Yes.
And I will say confidently, unfairly.
Yes.
Because no one person is responsible for all of the baggage of Siri.
And he is not a high-level executive who usually take the fall for this kind of thing. Right? So John Gianandrea has clearly been moved away, and we all think he's on the out.
He will probably,
It is atypical that then like an SVP or a VP also gets caught up in this.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering why, it's because Robbie Walker was quoted as saying the following in an internal meeting about this when Siri was announced as being delayed, all the personal contacts, all that kind of stuff. We swam hundreds of miles. We set a Guinness Book for World Records for swimming distance, but we still didn't swim to Hawaii. And we were being jumped on, not for the amazing swimming that we did, but the fact that we didn't get to the destination.
We did some amazing swimming.
I feel so bad for him because this is just a quote. He's trying to
pump up
G up the team and be like, look, we did some amazing stuff, but we didn't get to where we wanted to go, and people don't pay attention to the amazing stuff that we did because we didn't get to where we wanted to go.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
The way it's phrased is more like, but, we did some amazing swimming, everybody, when in fact the answer is we were given a job and we failed.
Yeah. And so the fact that all of this got out, he's kind of had some of this stuff pinned to him.
Yeah.
And
it feels untenable to me.
Yeah. And so then also being put in charge of this Answers Knowledge and Information team is a demotion, essentially.
Yeah.
You've gone from all of Siri, which should include this, to can you build a skunk work project to build this? Again, this is how it feels when you read the reporting.
Yeah.
And so whatever's happening, he won't be there anymore.
No.
So the way that Mark has reported on it is that he has given his notice to leave, essentially. So it's not like, he's been poached by Meta. Maybe he has. Maybe he's got a job up. We don't know, but that's not the story here.
This feels like more, I can't be here anymore, and then maybe I will go work somewhere else rather than that I've been poached. But who knows?
Rough.
Yeah. Yep.
This episode is brought to you by Fitbod. If you're looking to change your fitness level, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why I'm pleased to let you know that Fitbod is an easy and affordable way to build a fitness plan for you. Because everybody has their own path through personal fitness, so Fitbod uses data to make sure they customize things to suit you. It will adapt as you improve, so every workout remains challenging while pushing you to make the progress you're looking for, because you will see the best results when a workout program is tailored to your unique body, experience, environment, and goals. Fitbod stores this information in your Fitbod gym profile and tracks your muscle recovery so you're able to avoid burnout and keep up your momentum. because your muscles improve when they work together with the entire muscular system. So overworking some muscles while underworking others will see bad results. Fitbod tracks your muscle fatigue and recovery to design a well-balanced workout routine for you. My favorite thing about this, though, I'm happy that it does all this stuff in the background. That sounds like Fitbod is taking care of me, and I love that. But what I like about it most, the result of this, is that my workout program varies, so I don't get bored of it, because I get bored and I'm doing the same things over and over and over again. And if I get bored, I'm not enthusiastic, I'm not committed to it. By making it exciting and new and challenging, it keeps me coming back for more, which is important. The Fitbod app is easy to use. You stay informed with their progress tracking charts, reports, and sharing cards, so you can keep track of your achievements and personal bests and also share them with your friends and family. Fitbod also integrates with your Apple Watch, Wear OS smartwatch, and other apps that you may use, like Strava, Fitbit, and Apple Health. Personalized training of this quality can be expensive. Fitbod is just $15.99 a month or $95.99 a year, but you can get 25% off your membership by signing up at fitbod.me/upgrade. So go now and get your customized fitness plan at fitbod.me/upgrade. That is fitbod.me/upgrade for that 25% off your membership. A thanks to Fitbod for their support of this show and Relay. It's time for some Ask Upgrade questions. Oh, I got lasered. Michael wants to know, assuming the same level of quality and style you experience in their other products, what appliance brand would you like to make a Mac clone?
This is such a weird question.
I love this question. And the reason I included it is because, Jason, I think I have, like, for me, a perfect answer.
All right.
Teenage engineering.
All right. Makers of very expensive products and
Very
designers
expensive,
of things like
highly
the Playdate
detailed,
and,
quirky things with cool buttons. And weird design, brawn style. I would love a Teenage Engineering Mac.
It would be weird.
It would be real weird.
Yeah. I have no answer here because I don't... Let me put it this way. The appliances that I buy are not made by companies that have the same design aspiration
Let's stretch
as
it
Apple.
to any company that makes technology-focused hardware. Does that change anything? Sony could do a cool job, I think.
PowerBook 100.
There's that Sony product.
That was a Sony.
And what was that like?
Little. I mean, that's what they were going for. It was like super miniaturized because that was like the Sony. Didn't have a lot of...
Little's in, you know?
Yeah, I don't have an answer here because I struggle to come up with companies that make hardware that make me think, oh, this is so much hardware now is commodity and simplicity.
Imagine Breville.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an example, but
that'd be weird.
It would be weird.
It'd have a bit more. OXO, very grippable.
Yeah,
Mac.
very grippable.
Who else have we got? I like this. I want people to write in with their... If you have a company that you would like to see make a Mac, write in. Go to upgradefeedback.com and write in. I would like to know. I think that'd be fun. I would like to see what people think about that.
Maybe like one of those companies that makes super fancy e-bikes.
Yes.
Because I've seen some of those where they look like very Apple design sensibility. I guess what I'm saying is there are not actually that many companies that are... The space Apple represents is a high-end space, and I know that Apple, because of the way we use our technology, the Apple products are at the high end. So you're listening to this podcast, you have chosen to prioritize that level, but Apple reaches more people than a high-end appliance brand, right?
Yes.
And it's interesting because that's where you have to go. You have to go to the high end, like a watchmaker or those high end kitchen appliances and all of that. And most of that stuff, I don't buy that. I do buy the technology stuff, but I'm not buying a $5,000 dishwasher.
Yep.
And below the high end, it's just a dog-eat-dog kind of commodity world that doesn't provide any of the kind of decisions.
Yeah,
that
I think
Apple
that there are
makes.
some luxury goods brands that could make something interesting. But yes, I agree with what you're saying. I just picked up my iPhone Pro, see how it's doing, and I had 6 consecutive pop-ups to enter in passwords for email accounts.
Fun.
So it's going
great.
It's going well over here.
Great.
Logan writes in and says, I'm thinking it's time for a watch upgrade as I'm on a Series 5, but I'm really struggling to decide between the 11 and the Ultra 3. I don't really care about the look, but I'm worried that the bulk of the Ultra will be annoying even though I have relatively big wrists. But the battery is definitely a big factor as I wear the watch all day and all night. I am not an extreme sports person. I'm just for regular workouts and running, so I'm worried that the Ultra would be wasted.
I think the 11 is your choice here because the 11 has pretty good enough battery, and if you charge it every day when you take a shower or whatever, like you just need to find a little time to charge it, and it's enough. And Apple now claims all day, 24-hour battery life, but we'll see about that. But I don't think you need the battery for what you describe. I don't think you need the battery of the Ultra. I think you can get through and wear it all day and night, and you just have to find a time to charge it. But for me, when I'm sleeping with the Apple Watch in the morning, I will pop it on the charger when I wake up, and then take a shower and then come back and put it back on, and that's fine.
I agree that the 11, especially going from a 5 to an 11, you have a great time. But what I will say though, for people that are considering this, the Ultra is not as cumbersome as you think it is when you're wearing it.
Well, yeah, you should try it.
Yeah.
And see what you think.
But you can do in the Apple Store. But the 11 is probably the right call.
I would say it's certainly the 11 will also solve all of the issues that Logan mentions.
And the fact that you even have the question about bulkiness, then you'll love the 11 because it's super thin.
Yeah.
Amar writes in and says, am I the only one who desperately wants Apple to move back to in-person live events? These ridiculously scripted events have completely lost their charm. The more I see Google, Meta, or even Dyson events, the more I feel Apple is missing a trick. At least one of the two major events of the year should be in person. So, sometimes I want this, right? Like I like the in-person events. But Amar references Meta. Now, a couple of days ago, Meta had an event where they showed off what is ostensibly an incredibly impressive piece of technology. They have put screens in their Ray-Bans, right?
Yeah.
Like displays, essentially. And they have this band which you can control the UI. And every person that has tried them, journalists, content creators, are saying, like, this is really impressive. Their demo was an abject failure.
Yeah.
Like, time and time again, they were trying to do things and they couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. It made their product look stupid, and it made everybody on stage look stupid and awkward. Like, there's this one clip of this, I don't know who this person was, but I've just seen like a kind of a supercut. And they're trying to make like a recipe, and they're using the AI to tell them what to do. And it just would not accept that they were not on step 2. And the guy looked so uncomfortable, because all he has to do is read the lines he's been told to read, and it would not do it. And like Zuckerberg's like, oh, the Wi-Fi. It's like, no, you look stupid. Like, I want live events too, but why would Apple do that and look like idiots when something doesn't work, which inevitably these things don't work, because like we were talking earlier, technology does not always take the path that you want it to take. If it works 99 times out of 100, but your one time is when you're showing it off to the world for the first time, you look stupid. So why would you do it?
Remember earlier today when you had a potentially controversial take?
Yeah.
I'm about to do it.
Let's do it.
No live events. No live events for Apple. It's a bad idea. I don't think Apple cares that they've lost their charm. Oh. That's not the point. I'll also point out live events were never for... Live events as a concept emerged from an era where there were trade shows. It continued to exist because they kind of picked up the magic, really, because Steve Jobs was kind of magical at it. They were never for 99.9999% of the audience, right? It was always for 1,000 people or 500 people in the room. Apple has proven that they can still invite people to their campus to watch a video and then get all the benefit of people having hands-on. They have complete control over it. It's a commercial just like it was before.
Yeah, I find it so strange when people are like, the pre-recorded ones just feel like ads. It's always
just
an ad.
They were all ads.
They're just Steve Jobs an ad live at you.
Yeah, it was a live ad read instead of a professional, and the quality is so much higher. Now, trying to get at what Amar is saying here, what I would say is, I think I'm gonna keep making takes here,
yes,
Myke.
This is good.
I'm gonna keep making takes here. I think there's a problem with Apple's. They call them films, right? Whatever they do. I think there's a problem with the tone and the direction of them.
I would agree
I think
with that.
that's the problem.
Yes.
Is I think they're so polished, and I think that kind of, it's not even snarky. It's more like smug.
It's like we're better than you.
Tone that they've got,
Because they do it not in just the tone.
even in their jokes.
The
their jokes are
production
smug.
value
Yeah.
is so high.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look what we can do.
It's so it is so polished. It's almost like they're like, people start to speculate. Did they touch up the presenters? Is the background real? Is everything looped? Everything has been dubbed in with a voiceover.
Because there's also just stuff. It's like, there's no way you shot that and the store was open.
So it's
but you're making it look like the store's open.
Yeah, so it's completely massaged to the point. So what I would say is, I feel like the people who are building these events or these commercials might want to consider something else in terms of style.
I would like
that
them to
feels
be
a little
more folksy.
Yeah.
Like, let's just chill out a little bit. Like, let's just, I agree with you.
Because it's like, it's so intense. It's like, we are going to make, it's like if a friend of yours who's a filmmaker comes to you and says, I'm going to make the best commercial ever. And it's like, yes, the sandwich video people come. They're like, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best one. We spared no expense. We spent all this money. It's going to be the most intense 60 seconds you've ever seen. My response is going to be like, whoa, chill, right?
Yeah.
Like, calm down. That's too much. And I think that is what these Apple events are now. So that's my take is, I don't think you want a live event, and I don't think Apple wants to give you a live event, but what they're doing feels like it's too much and that they need to back off.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. It's just, I don't know what that is.
No.
It's probably days and days of meetings at Apple to figure out what that tone is. But I think what they're doing is, I think they've lost their way in their production, and they've gone so far, kind of like in this direction, that they need to do it differently. Do it something. Even we were talking about this. Maybe it's been in this last week. Even when they do funny, it's so overdone that it crushes all the funny out of it. So like, Jimmy Fallon did a live Google event.
Yeah.
And most people seem to say it was awful, right? But I know what they were trying to do there. And
I watched some of it and thought some of the stuff he was doing was funny, but like some people just don't like his humor.
yeah,
but I think
and it's
funny.
maybe a mismatch for the content. But what I would
was
say
weird,
is,
but some of it was really funny.
But
Like,
then-
he kept shouting "tense to G5" whenever they said it. And I think that's very funny. Like, whenever they said it, he would shout it, and I thought that was hilarious.
So my point is, when Apple does that, what do? They're like, we've got a bunch of recognizable actors to do a comedy sketch about Mother Nature coming to Apple that ultimately is this really kind of like puffing up Apple as being great. And like, that was their attempt at a comedy bit.
And it was not funny. I hated that. I remember I felt like I was a bit contrarian there. I hated that.
I felt it
segment.
was and here's the core of it. I felt it was an effective bit of marketing, but it was also like death for comedy. And like, this is what I'm saying is, that's not right. I'm not saying do Jimmy Fallon. I'm saying that's not, there's something going on that I don't like about how processed the videos are. But I don't think the solution is to do a live event, because it's still a commercial, except now the sound is bad and they lose all control. And, honestly, the truth is going to come out in the demos and the reviews, not in the on-stage demo anyway. They're like, it's just not. I hear what Amar is saying, but I don't think what you think you want is what you want.
What you want is something that isn't here anymore. It's Steve Jobs.
It's Steve Jobs. Yeah, I could argue that the live event essentially was always why I said this earlier, but like, there was Macworld Expo, and Steve Jobs would go there and do things. Everything that's happened since then, up until COVID, was trying to recapture the magic of Steve Jobs at Macworld Expo.
There is absolutely zero
they're
reason
gone.
that the CEO of a technology company should ever go on stage to show off their product. There is no
reason.
Nothing naturally occurs that makes that
We're all
happen.
just in the wake of Steve Jobs.
Yes,
and he's
everybody
gone.
wanted to do what he was doing.
Yeah,
so it
including
just
Apple.
became the culture.
Yeah.
Of what companies did.
And it was effective to a point.
Yeah,
But I think if you were to think about it today, you would make very different decisions.
because even Apple has, because Tim Cook, they tried it, They stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Like, he took that mantle for a while and was doing a lot of the talking. And then over time, they were like, Tim should only do the intros.
Yeah.
Because he's just not the salesperson.
Exactly.
And over time, they have found the salespeople. And could imagine a different CEO, like our friend John Turnus, would maybe do it differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Let me throw this out there, too. I think we're blowing things up here.
Yeah, I love it.
I think big multi-product launch events are generally a mistake. I know that you can get a bunch of people together and you can do it all at once, but not only does it swamp, so like we're talking iPhone. Oh yeah, Apple Watch, AirPods.
Yeah.
Not only does it swamp those other products, and the people who are writing reviews and who are covering them and talking about them are like, I would love to spend the next 2 weeks thinking about AirPods, but I also have to think about Apple Watch and iPhone. I don't know. And I know the eyes of the world are on the iPhone event, and you can use that, and that's a reason to do it.
Yeah.
But in general, we were talking about should they do an October event with a new Mac laptop and an Apple TV and all that? And my answer is no. Like, if you want to do a media event in New York or Cupertino and invite a bunch of media to do a pre-brief, but we know that during COVID, you know what they did? They put us on WebEx and they FedEx things to our house, and it was fine.
Announcements every month for 4 months.
They just kept going. So I would even say the concept of an Apple event, like WWDC, I know why it's there, and it's an OS unveiling. It is a single product event. I get it. And the optics of having developers come to Cupertino, great. And the iPhone, I understand that you got to make a big deal about the iPhone. Everything else, I say one-offs. Everything else should be. And that lowers the bar for the video because it's not a 90-minute death march through a huge spray of products, right? It's just, hey, we got a new Mac today. Here's the details about the new Mac. Maybe we'll see you in a week or two with something else. Who knows? It's Apple. We're mysterious. And then they're gone. Apple out.
Yeah.
And I think that's better. I think that's more effective. So I would say run as far away from events as possible.
If you would like to send us in your feedback, follow-up, or a question of your own for us to answer in a future episode
oh boy,
of the show,
imagine that.
Go to upgradefeedback.com. I'd like to thank our members who support us with Upgrade Plus. This week, we're going to talk about a phrase, my computer is in your computer. That is the topic of conversation for today's Upgrade Plus. Go to getupgradeplus.com. If you want to find this show, go search for us on YouTube. There should hopefully be a multi-camera setup. Even if you just
or there's a test
through.
pattern. We don't know.
No one could tell. You can find out yourself by searching for us on YouTube as the Upgrade Podcast. Please go to stjude.org/relay and give what you can to help support the fight against childhood cancer. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode, Fitbod, Squarespace, Interconnected, and Steam Clock. And most of all, I want to thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, say goodbye, Jason Snell.
Goodbye, Mike Hurley.